When I was 8 years old, I had a habit of staying up late into the night, captivated by the flickering images on the television screen. The world felt vast and full of possibilities in those quiet, solitary hours. Those moments alone with my thoughts and the TV were a secret adventure, a time when my imagination could run wild. My mother, a woman deeply rooted in her beliefs and superstitions, often shared peculiar warnings with me. One of her most serious admonitions was to never, under any circumstances, turn on the television at exactly 4:44 a.m. She would recount these warnings with a stern, almost fearful expression, making sure I understood the gravity of her words. She insisted that if you did, you would start to hear strange clicks and the sound of heavy breathing coming from the next room. I remember asking her why 4:44 a.m. was so significant, but she would just shake her head and say, "It's a cursed time. That's all you need to know." As a child, I found her stories both fascinating and terrifying. The idea of hearing clicks and heavy breathing in the dead of night was enough to make my skin crawl. But the part that really scared me was what she said next. If you dared to investigate, you would encounter a black shadow with piercing red eyes, glaring at you from the darkness. I used to lie in bed at night, wide awake, staring at the clock as it inched closer to 4:44 a.m. My curiosity battled with my fear. I wanted to see if her warnings were true, but the thought of those red eyes kept me firmly under my covers. Another of her eerie tales was about wearing someone else's glasses. She claimed that doing so would allow you to see the moment of that person's death. I remember the day she told me this. She had just found me trying on her glasses, and she yanked them off my face, her eyes wide with fear. "Never do that again," she said, her voice trembling. "If you see someone's death, it's a burden you can't escape." Despite my skepticism, one day my curiosity got the better of me. I picked up my mother's glasses and put them on, feeling a chill run down my spine. I stood there, looking around the room, half expecting to see something horrific. First, nothing happened. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a fleeting image of my father, surrounded by an eerie, dark fog. From that moment on, I began having unsettling visions involving my father. These visions, though unclear, filled me with an inexplicable sense of dread. They were like fragments of a nightmare, haunting me even when I was awake. I saw flashes of him in dangerous situations, always with that same dark fog encircling him. Ever since that day, I've always harbored a lingering fear of my father, haunted by the thought that I might have glimpsed a fragment of a dark future. It wasn't that I saw him as a monster, but the fear of losing him, of seeing his end, became a shadow that loomed over me. As I grew older, I tried to rationalize these fears. I told myself that they were just stories, figments of a child's overactive imagination. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was some truth to my mother's warnings. Whether these were mere stories or glimpses into something more sinister, they have stayed with me, shaping the way I see the world and the people around me. They taught me to be cautious, to respect the unknown, and to understand that some mysteries are better left unexplored.